We just gonna jump on in it. Hey y'all, welcome to the
That's it.
accountability call number 42. We are here to hold ourselves accountable to all the things that we need to do, want to do, all the things. I'm here with my friends, honey. We're just over here cackling because I'm over here trying to put it on the Instagram to tell them to come on over here.
Same.
And Z asked me, where did International Inez come from? Right. And I was talking about it. They were like, we need to tell this on the live. So here we are. So back in the day, I used to plan trips for, people to travel, serve, learn, which is called voluntourism. And so my IG handles, all my handles used to be the mentorist, which I came with to combine like mentoring and tourism, blah, blah. So one of my good friends, Rashad, every time he would see me, he would be like, hey, they go International Dance. And I'd be like, hey, what's up? And the one time he did it, and I was just like, I'm about to change my handle to that because it goes so well. Like my name starts with an I. Not many people's names start with an I, right? And the alliterations, we love a good alliteration.
We do.
So I was like, this is good. Like I like International Inez, and it's so like succinct, and people know exactly what it means, right? Like I don't need to explain it to you. You know exactly what it means. So I changed it to that. Interestingly enough, I don't think I knew this when I changed it because of Rashad, but Rashad is in marketing. He is like very well paid. He is very well paid as a marketing consultant. So I'm glad I took that little nugget from him back in the day and used it for my whole brand. Like and here we are.
Let me tell you why I asked the question.
Yes, like
Because
so ladies, how are y'all today? How's your
wait,
week?
can you hear me? Am I on mute? No.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I said, let me tell you why I asked the question because I'm rocking
my
immersion t-shirt.
Listen.
We ain't new to this with truth.
Listen.
So before it's deeper than travel.
Come on.
Before 100-fold consulting.
Listen.
Coach Zenitra had a client named Inez.
Exactly.
And we went through the process of figuring out what she loved doing and how she was going to be able to monetize that. And Immersion Excursion was the name of her company. So yes. I'm like, how do we get from Immersion Excursions to Deeper Than Travel and then the International Inez? So that's what
Yes. Immersion Excursions back in the day. Yo, like I still be about these Immersion Excursions, y'all. They're still at the root of it all. Tell you.
Yep.
Okay.
Love it.
So yes. Eve is still in Ghana, y'all. I was alone. And also excited because listen, why would you ever come back to these United States?
No, why? Y'all, I'm not ready. I feel like I'm about to go through like assimilation all over again. I'm even trying to even on these calls, I'm practicing how to talk without an accent. So yeah, we will see. I'm not ready for the sticker shock of just the dollars that is going to cost for everything. I'm like, this is ghetto. Like I don't pay this. The fact that I could get up and like go like drink like 2 or 3 coconuts for like about $3-4 and then give $6 because I can, like, it's just ridiculous to me. That's a lot. Like I could get a whole bottle of fresh coconut water for 25 CDs, which is basically like $1.50. A big bottle, okay, big girl bottle. So I don't know. I'm still here. I am still here, and I'll be back very soon.
I don't blame you. That's all I have to say is I don't blame you. Zane, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm going to use this as a way to just jump into what I've learned. And it's not even a learning, more of a like realizations. I feel like learning is the taking in of new information. But when you actualize it or realize it like in your life. So y'all know I be tired, child, because I be doing the most. And I really do not make enough space for rest in my life. And in addition to not making enough space for rest, I'm really hard on myself when I feel like I'm not being productive. But over the past, I think I'm on week 3 now of no kids. And in this last week, I have just like gotten back to the Zenitra that I know, the person who's able to get up and do the things that she said that she was gonna do. And it just hit me like, girl, you were tired. You needed to sit down somewhere for a certain amount of time to give your brain and your body a chance to recover, recuperate before I can get back to being productive. And I'm talking about like little things that I realized that I wasn't able to do just because of fatigue, and understanding that fatigue impacts the frontal lobe. Stress also impacts the frontal lobe. So like simple things like just like not drinking enough water. Earlier this year, my skin was cutting up, and I don't normally have skin issues, but I wasn't drinking enough water. And just even reminding myself or even feeling the need to get the water in just felt like another task that I just did not get done. I am a natural morning person. I love waking up at 5 a.m. But when I tell you, I know.
The opposite, okay?
Yeah. So she's the night owl. I'm the morning person. I could not get up at 5, or if I was getting up at 5, it was like a struggle. And that was just because if I wanted to work out, I had to get up at 5:30. And I literally, it would be like, I would be up at 5:25 so I can get 30 minutes in, because at 6 o'clock it's go time. We're getting the kids up and ready for school. But just even having these simple desires, I think on one of the accountability calls, I talked about watching the sunrise more, but like I literally couldn't get out of bed. I was tired. And so I feel like I'm just now getting to the point where, again, it's crazy because I would wake up, but couldn't get out of the bed. But now I'm like at a space where I can wake up and like, maybe I lay there for like, 5 to 10 minutes, but it's like, okay, let's get up and do something. And I just had not been able to tap into that energy before. I mean, even 2 weeks ago, I couldn't tap into it. And I was, really hard on myself. Like, girl, you just being lazy. Like, no, ma'am, your body is beat. Yes. And you really need to allow your body a chance to recover. So please, y'all, get some rest. Rest your body. Your brain works better. Your energy is there. You're able to move with your intuition. You're not second guessing. You're not as emotional, or you're not as you're in more control of your emotions, or better able to handle your emotions. So I just feel like I'm having this awakening, like literally I'm waking up because I've been tired. But then also like, oh my gosh, like I'm really
sleepwalking, child.
So that's what I've realized in this past week or two.
This is so good. Like I feel like I realized this. I already know this about myself. I was gone this past week with my husband to Atlanta for a conference. And man, when I tell you, like, first of all, I ain't do much of nothing with regard to productivity, right? Like, and I was, listen, what I said to me, okay?
Okay, here we go.
And also, I have really been like just sleeping in, and like even today, I was like, I ain't get up till 8 o'clock. I make sure my children had their clothes on already. They roll out of bed, brush their teeth, wash their face, and go to school. And I got to sleep till 8 o'clock. So like I feel very alert and awake this morning. But what I want to say to you, Z, is how do you maintain this state when they're back?
Hello. That is top of mind. Okay. So I've been thinking about, again, this is why the accountability call is so good, because sometimes we put stuff on our list that we aren't able to accomplish. I believe it was in April, because I think I was in Mexico when I talked about redefining, putting together like systems and creating new boundaries for myself, or creating like, what are my standard operating procedures, SOPs, gonna be for my life. And for me, because I have this reset time, like I need to have 30 days of consistently doing the things that I know I need to do, so that my body understands it, so that my body feels it. And then still have a couple more weeks to go after that, figure out what the schedule looks like for the kids. So I'm also going to continue to ask for help, but like in bigger ways. I think I feel that it's my job to do everything for my kids. And when I can't do everything, then I ask for help. I have to change that thinking to who are the people who are going to be the standard for help, not once I get tired or once I can't do it. That's a huge shift. So and in doing that, because I need to make time for myself to do things that replenish me, right? That replenish my energy, replenish my soul, keep me in a state of happiness and joy. And a lot of times I don't do those things because I don't want to say a lot of times, I'll speak for the last year. Like, taking a Soca fitness class. It's every Tuesday. Well, Blake has basketball on Tuesday. Well, somebody else gonna have to take Blake to basketball. Right? Like, just allowing myself to assign that task to somebody else so that I can make space for myself. Because I would always, whatever the kids had to do, always takes precedent over what I need. And that is a shift in mindset that I'm going to have to make. So I'm going to say that's the biggest one, or two. The first one is consistently doing the thing that I need to do, and then creating a schedule around incorporating the kids back into it, and then assigning tasks to people up front, not once I get tired.
Come on. Yes, I love that. I love that, love that, love that, love that, love that, because this is what I feel like the standard should be for us as mothers. Right? Like, when I think about when I was a kid, we were at my grandmother's house. I feel like I spent so many after schools, either in an after school program or at my grandmother's house. Right? And when I think about the way we exist now, sometimes it's very different in that we don't just leverage our community in the same way. But technically, after school was the task assigned to my grandmother.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even Sunday dinner. We used to be over my grandmother's house every Sunday for dinner. And technically, that was the task assigned to her. And so I love this because I was typing in my notes, because I am going to use that for a podcast episode, because your girl is launching a podcast.
Yes. Launch a podcast.
I found out I already have one. Oh, Lord have mercy. This is Eve says something all the time. Copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, which basically is like repurpose what you already been doing. But for me, it has just really been like, one of the things that was a big revelation for me this week was like, you already did the work. Like, you already done did the work. So I was like, yes, I want to start a podcast. I want it to be called Moms Off Duty. I want to talk about ways that moms can take and enjoy their free time without the guilt, without the anxiety, without the fear, right? Without the stress, all of these things. And so I was talking to this guy at the summit. He was like, so you're starting? He was like, I was like, well, I have my YouTube channel right now, but I'm gonna start a podcast. He was like, well, how many videos you got on YouTube channel? I was like, almost 150. So he was like, 150. I was like, yeah. He was like, you could just strip the audio off of those and put them on Spotify. He was like, this 150 episodes. I was like, oh, you correct. Like, you correct. He was like, girl, he was like, you got enough to almost have a whole year. I'm like, you correct. I mean, almost, it is a whole year. Like, so I was like, oh yeah, this is good. This is good. So as I'm hearing things as you're talking, I'm taking notes, and I'm gonna come back to this video, Z, because this is something that a lot of us go through. And what I wrote down, what you said was, I believe I'm supposed to do everything for my kids, and only when I can't is when I ask for help. Right? That is an existence that we have as mothers. Like, it's only when I'm sick or I'm stressed or I'm burnt out or I'm laid out, it is when I'm be like, oh, well, can you help me? No, man.
And it goes one step further, because a lot of times this is our existence as women, as Black women, as entrepreneurs. Only when I can't do I then ask for help.
Yes.
And we can't.
It gotta be extreme. Can't.
Literally can't mean I'm about to die. Like, from the stress, from the worry, from the anxiety, and now I feel it's okay for me to ask for help.
Right.
That is
right.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. So good. So I was at David Shan's podcast summit this past week. Wednesday through Saturday. The summit was only on Thursday and Friday. Child, I learned so much over the course. It's like so many things to take away. One of them was respect the small. Right. There's a guy who named CJ who is the host of the Secret to Success podcast, but he's basically the brand person behind a lot of these major personal development people in the industry. I've been following, ET and CJ for years. We get a chance to actually talk to him and catch up. And he said the reason why we were able to, grow our brand the way we were is because we respected the small. He was like, a lot of y'all want to get to the big and you only respect the big. He was like, but when we was making YouTube videos in 2012 and we only had 13 views and we had 3 comments, we was responding to 3 comments. Right. He was like, if they asked for something, he was like, we were making it for that one person who said, can y'all talk about this? We making a whole video just for them. He was like, so you got to respect the small when you're in the small in order to get to the big. And I was like, oh, this is good. This is good. Another thing that David Shan said, he was talking about how like when you, the 3 pillars of a successful brand. And he said it's content, community, and cash flow. Right. And one of the things he talked about around community was, he was like, whenever you're building a community, you just have to run a little faster than your community. You don't have to be way out in front of them, right? You just have to be a little bit ahead of the pack, right? But also he said, focus on the success of the people more than the success of the community, right? So who are the individuals in the community? And it makes me think about my Moms Off Duty group, right? I have like, about 17, 20 women in total who have joined me for Moms Off Duty. And what it means to me is really getting individualized with each of them. Like, what do you need to be successful, right? How can I help you specifically to be successful, as opposed to kind of the broader, like what I think all of you need, right? So while I was down there, I sent them a message like, what is the question in your head that you would Google tied to the biggest obstacle that you have around, being able to take kid-free vacation, blah, blah. And I plan to reach out to each of them individually, right, to really understand, like, how can I help you be successful specifically? That was really helpful. It was so many things. Like, another thing CJ said, he was like, everybody wants to go to a master, but nobody wants to become one.
Well, that's I vehemently disagree with that. But that's just the mindset thing. No, I'm trying to be the master. But yes. I see where you're going. I see where you're going.
Yes. He's like, everybody wants to go to the master, right? And get all the help, get all the support, get all the questions answered, and get all the things. He was like, but nobody wants to become a master at a thing, right? And what does it take for you to become a master is respecting the small, every little thing on the journey, every little thing that you learn, and really mastering each of the steps in order to become a master. So these are some of my biggest takeaways from the summit. I was just like blown away. So many new connections. I reconnected with a friend of mine. And one of the things I really plan to do with, some of the people that I met there that I feel like I've built a bit of a relation with is starting to be really more vulnerable about where I am in my business and what I need, right? So I plan to call one of my friends this week, schedule some time with him this week and be like, hey, you've been an entrepreneur for 12 years. This is where I am. I need some support to figure out, because I need, in the next 2-3 months, I need to be here, right? So so these are the things. It was a really great trip. And I feel very refreshed. It was great to come back to my littles, and we went and had a whole family day at the pool yesterday, which was great. So yes, overall a good holiday week.
Mm-hmm. Baby, I wrote down all the notes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, whoa, bars.
When I tell you, I'm about to reduce the amount of time I'm researching reuse this information, recycle whatever that process is. I'm gonna do it because it applies to so many things, right? Like I'm working on a proposal for a conflict resolution training. And when you talk about that process of everybody wants to go to the master, and I edited, few people want to become the master. And how do you become the masters? You respect the small. You have to respect the small interactions. You have to respect the small feelings. You have to respect, the daily disciplines that then can lead up to a conflict so that you're able to better manage a conflict. You can't wait till you get to the conflict to then be like, how do I manage this thing?
Right.
Respect the small. You have to, take it step by step. But it feels the same way about entrepreneurship. It feels the same way about parenting, those small interactions. Like, this is a whole word right here, baby. In this back.
And it even makes me think about like mastering yourself, right? Because one of the people who are considered masters at things have also figured out how to master themselves, right? And so we go to them not realizing the way that the reason why they could do that is because they mastered themselves, and very few people are willing to really learn how to master themselves. Like, like really master and understand your emotions, where they came from, your triggers, where they came from, why they exist. Are they serving you? Do you still want to move in this way? What is your identity? What is it based in? Why? Like all of these things, like, baby.
You listed literally every single question I ask myself every single year on my birthday.
Because you're willing to master yourself. Like,
yes.
I'm about to rebrand from the meat expert to the meat master, because you know how we feel about alliteration. We just talked about
alliteration now.
When y'all start seeing the meat master, y'all know where it came from, right? Here. So number 41, 44, whatever we are.
Right, 42.
Y'all see it. Know that this is where it began.
Where it came from.
Years ago, we was founded.
Yes, years ago. Okay, honey, we done dove in. Eve, do you want to share something you learned last week before we get into our goals real quick? Like, you like what?
I'm just saying, I was like, I done said it all. I'm doing now good. I'm like, let the people sit and marinate in the stew that's already cooking. No, I have nothing to add. I feel like I'm learning right now from y'all. I'm learning y'all last week right now. That's how I'm feeling.
You can say this next week. You can get.
I can say it again next week. Yes, exactly.
You know what I learned last week was this stuff.
I love it.
Okay, so goals last week. One of mine was to have a connected, empowering, uplifting vacation. When I tell y'all, it was all of these things. It also was very like, okay, I'm gonna be very transparent with y'all. Sometimes when you don't get a chance to spend a lot of like long-term quality time with your partner, right? When you do get that opportunity, you have the great moments, but you also have the opportunity to hash out some things, right? So we had both on this vacation, and this is why I be like, it's so important to have a vacation sometimes, because the hustle and bustle of your life sometimes and your children, sometimes you can't have the hard conversation because you don't even have the hours to really go deep into something, right?
Yep.
So I can appreciate being able to have the hours, like, and that's why I went early and I stayed late from the conference, right? Because I'm like, I want us to have the most amount of time together to be able to enjoy it, which we did. Like, if y'all was on my IG stories, you saw us acting crazy in the Atlanta airport, trying to do a dance challenge, and then also like hash out some things. Like, so it was a really good trip. A carefree departure. Yes, I did get a lot of rest. However, it was initiated by me being sick. Okay, so again, sit down. That initiated the rest, and that's why I feel so restful, because I got sick and I was required to sit down. I wanted to get some ideal podcast interviews. I put 5 on here. I did 2 live interviews, which was so cool. Like, literally, one of the guys, I'm like, he was like, I wasn't even gonna come to this summit. I'm like, you came to the summit for me. Mm-hmm. Like, he is a travel blogger. He is from IT. He is a bruh. He's a member of Omega Psi Phi. He has been doing podcasts forever. He's a great action taker. Like he really just inspired me. He was the one like, you already got all these podcasts. Anyway, we had an amazing conversation. He interviewed me on the spot for his podcast. He was like, we need to connect. He also is a solution engineer, so he does the same thing I do. He was a software engineer. He was basically, if you need a job, like hit me up. I will refer you to whatever job you like in my company. And this was the cherry on the top. Like, he was like, oh, he's like, y'all live in like Winfield and Philly. He was like, my mama live in, he was like, y'all live in Philly. And we were like, yeah, he was like, my mama live in Philly. I'm like, what part? He like, Winfield. I was like, we stay in Winfield. Where's she at? He was like, yeah, such and such street. I was like, she is literally right the corner. We in this street. He was like, oh my God. He was like, I'll be up there once a month. I'm gonna have to go visit y'all. I was like, come on, walk around the corner. Like, and his mother is a herbalist. So I'm like, listen, you came to this conference for us, okay? This is why you're here. It's for us. But yeah, so him and then another guy I did an interview for. He has a finance podcast, but it's called The Father of Success, because his son's name is Success, which I was like, oh my God.
True free and success.
Listen, true free and success. So, and it was a really good conversation about, parents taking kid-free vacations, right, together. So, and then I had some other ones that I was supposed to do, but it just wasn't enough time. So I definitely had 5 interviews lined up already. So I'm super excited about that. I did not complete my mom's off-duty follow-up. I was going to do it yesterday, but I was like, I'm just enjoying time with my family, so they'll be all right. And then also, I didn't do any content planning as well. I was supposed to do some content planning for 2 weeks. Did not happen. However, I will say my word of the week was poised. And I felt like, in my interactions and such down there, I was very poised in the situation. So,
I love it. Yeah. I love it. There was a lot of tip on top of the tips over there. Okay. Like, just
listen.
On top of the tip. Every time it was just a little bit more on top of the tip. That's dope. I'm gonna jump right in because I know we spent a lot of time talking about other things this morning. So prospecting is always at the top of my list, baby. When I tell you I was in these streets somewhat socially, but there was business connections that were happening. And because Inez set things off with being transparent, I'm gonna be transparent. So I earlier this year took a gig that I only requested $2,500 for.
Oh yeah, right.
Being scared. After I did the gig, I knew or now know that it was a $10,000 gig. Like, there's no way. Like the $2,500 only paid for part of my supplies. Let's be clear. Right. Like that's how much I undersold myself. So that's one miss. 2, then I was feeling real bold. So I had a speaking opportunity that came about, and he was like, how much? I was like, 25,000, like, period. I ain't never heard from that man again. So then that made me like, ooh, let me be scared a little bit. To Inez's point again, talking about vulnerability and asking for what you want. The last 2 weeks, I have been connecting with people and asking for 2 things. One, I need an immediate $5,000 to $10,000 gig that can happen in the next 30 days.
Come out.
And I also am looking for a $50,000 contract for a larger project.
Right. I want to get tissue. Keep talking.
Okay. And so where I have settled, I have a proposal that I'm submitting by end of week, a scope of work. And I'm going to request $25,000. I am a little bit nervous about it. I'm not big nervous. I'm only a little bit nervous. Because I was having conversations with a good friend of mine who's also a coach, and she actually is in the same space of having to ask for more money. But we had to do the math to justify. And I am in a space where I'm okay with negotiating, right? Like if that's not in your budget, then it's 20. But I'm not, I know what a $10,000 gig is, and this is more than that, in terms of the amount of work that's required. So, yeah, I'm asking for the 25,000. We gonna see. I'll let y'all know next week where we land. But yes, so this is, I feel like the way I've entrepreneured, I only tell people the struggle after the success.
That's how I live.
That my whole life.
Whole life.
That's how I live.
I only tell people the true struggle after the success in terms of like what I share broadly. One-on-one, like you have to be in my top 3, and we all know number 3, who them 3 are. Who them 3 is what I want to say. We know who them 3 is, period. Those are the only people who are able to like get the real in the moment, and that's if they talk to me in the moment, because I don't even like
that's why I had to start calling her up, like, listen, what is going on?
Because I will hold back, and then after the success or after something follows, I'm like, girl, yeah, that thing was trash, let me tell you. Like, I talk to you. So I'm trying to get better with being vulnerable in the moment to the masses, because I think that's going to be a large part of my platform, in terms of, helping helping that one person that I spoke about. So anyway, so that's all tied to prospecting, because through those social interactions, I was able to kind of get this opportunity. So that's number 1, action plan. So the outline for the 2 businesses did not happen because now my focus is on creating the scope of work. So it happened just in a different capacity, not for the areas that I thought. I did not apply for any grant applications. I did, once I got energy, begin to purge, and it has been so cathartic. My closet was like literally I could not walk in. I have a walk-in closet that I could not walk in because things were on the floor. Like,
what?
And I just like forgot about it. Like, just don't worry about it. Don't go in there. So all the things, 90% of the things are off the floor. There's still like a little pile that I have to go through, but it feels good to have the energy to do it. It feels good to see the progress. It feels good to know that I'm going to be able to go in my closet and find something to wear, because I can actually see the things. It feels good to let go of things, and that's not something that I'm that good at. So I'm trying to get better at releasing things that no longer have a purpose in my life or are serving its purpose. So purging is happening. It's not to the extent which I thought, because again, it was overproductivity was my goal. But it is happening. So that's a success. And did I work out? I didn't work out at all. I did not. I did not. But we're back this week. We're back this week. Nope. That's my update.
Go ahead, Eve.
Ooh, all of the things.
What'd you say?
I want to call her Evie, like Eve the rapper. Oh, this one I need to ask Eve. So, pause.
Yeah.
Oh no, I asked you offline. Never mind. I don't want to say his name. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm trying to change his name to make it easier for people who don't know how to speak Creole to say it. So I'm trying to figure out how you really say it, because I don't think that's the way you say it. So I'm gonna ask y'all.
Okay. I'll tell you offline. I'm done. Okay, so in terms of all of the things that I needed to get done, okay, so dance, reading, and swimming. I did a little bit of all of that. Did I? Yes, I danced this morning. Yes, I did. Okay. The research is getting published, y'all. It's getting published. Like, I literally have a meeting with the communications team in 5 minutes to talk about how this bad boy gonna get published. So, and then capture any last minute feedback and stuff like that. But the data set, the dashboard, and the 20-page report that goes with it.
Come on.
Is there done? Okay. And now I'm prepping for phase 2. So excited. Connection calls, in terms of like speaking engagements, mentors, paid contracts, and stuff like that, all in the works. I feel like I'm really gonna hit the ground running when I get back to the States, because now I'm just trying to like just finalize all my things here. and I just got done with a big project. So now I feel open and ready to like the next part of my work in this contract, and also to figuring out more how I want to go ahead and like continue leveling up myself and my story and my brand, and get more dollars through sharing my brain. So I do have a call with a company this week. So and then I told you guys I had that have a speaking engagement where I need to submit a proposal what I want to speak to for a paid speaking gig. So there's that. And then real estate reconciliation. I did that, got all my things together. I posted a listing for the property I have in Philly, and now for some reason now a lot of people are messaging me. Funny how timing and God, I guess, works, because I'm like, nothing months ago. And now everybody and their mom like, can we see this? Can we come? Can we get this? Purchasing it right now. I'm like, what? Where were you when I was shooting in the gym? I was like, where were you?
No.
What?
Waiting for you to raise your price. That's where they were.
Clearly, child. Clearly. So yeah, now I need to find a way to schedule an open house on the same weekend that I get back, so I could get people to come see this house. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking through right now, if I'm gonna schedule a open house situation. But other than that, yeah, I feel like I accomplished and got through a lot of big things. So I feel blessed. The word of the week was figure outable, and Lord knows. Figured it out.
Amen. Amen. Okay. Well, real quick, what you doing this week?
This week, getting back to America.
America.
Right now, I need to prep for phase 2 research for my second deliverable draft. I guess basically, I'm gonna have to pause. Yeah, get back to America. Draft my phase 2 research, and whatnot, and get the acceptance on that. Um, and have people come look at this house for me to go ahead and find some tenants to put in it. Um, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it like that. If I add anything else, I would literally be fooling myself.
What's your self care?
Self care, sleep. I'm gonna, I'm gonna be so tired, y'all. It's gonna take 28 hours to get back. So, yeah, I'm gonna go to bed.
Immediately. Okay.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Fabulous. And what about your word?
My word is gonna be. I don't know why, but the word I want to come up, what I want to say is on time. Like everything's gonna happen on time, at its time, on time. That's what's coming to me. On time.
Yes. Yes. I'm writing it down. I love it. I love
On
it.
time. Yes, perfect.
I'm touching and agreeing on it. Mm-hmm.
Sleep.
I'll be excited to have you back in Philly.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you guys.
Yay! All right, boo. I know you got to drop our call.
Yes.
Enjoy
We're
your
amazing.
day. We'll talk to you soon.
Happy Monday. Bye, everybody.
Safe travels.
Okay, so did you write your goals yet, Z? You still
Yes,
writing?
girl. I'm on it. I'm on it.
Oh, good job.
So my goals, always prospecting at the top of the list. I have a couple meetings this week with people. One is a Rotary Club meeting, and then the other one is a one-on-one call with the connect that somebody connect me to. Someone, yeah, some lady I was connected to. Then number 2, I'm going to complete the scope of work and submit that. I will admit, now that I told you that I'm gonna ask for 25,000, I'm like, am I? Like, I'm scared. I'm not scared. Whatever. It's talking real big, but now I'm like, oh God. Then I am going to work on the outlines for my business, those things that were on the list for last week, at least scheduling them. I will admit that I generally don't write down what I need to do.
For what?
For life. It all just stays up. Other than these 5 goals, it usually doesn't get written down. However, I bought a new whiteboard. It ended up being too small for what I wanted to use it for. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll just use it as my to-do list.
Even the big one?
Yeah, it's not that big. It's only like 2 feet by 3 feet, or 2 by 4.
Oh.
I need a big one. So I said I was going to use it to write out my to-do list. As I look at it, I'm like, I really be managing all of that in my head? Like, this is insane. No wonder something might fall through the cracks, okay? Because there are actually only 3 businesses on there. There's a 4th one that I didn't even include on there. Personal, kids, miscellaneous, home, like all of that I normally manage in my head. So if you haven't been writing things down, let this be your motivation
to myself as well, because that's a podcast episode.
Manage it in your head. Yeah, get it out your head. So I have the outlines on there. And then my self-care goals are going to be diet and fitness. I am focused on both of those things. Trying to get my 30 days in of clean eating, and working out, 4 to 6 times a week. Those are priorities. So that's my 5.
Mm-hmm. I'm over here right now. Not writing it down contributes to the mental load.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's already in there, girl. It's already heavy. You just left it in there to be heavy. Like, no, we're not doing it. We're not doing it.
It's like journaling, right? Like, you gotta get it out your head and put it somewhere else.
Yes. Okay, so these are the things that I'm calling in this week. The first thing at the very top of my list is I am calling in financial clarity and unexpected money.
Ooh, I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
This is what we are expecting this week. Mm-hmm. I want some high level rest. I want to maintain this level of clarity because I feel like now that you said that it what you say, it messes with your
frontal lobe.
Exactly. And I already know we talked about the 3 parts of the brain, y'all. Going back to the episode.
Yep.
It's the one that help you solve problems. Okay, think logically. So I need to be able to think logically and solve problems. I need to do rest. I also am calling in 2 confirmed business mentorships. I have a lunch scheduled for tomorrow that I think is going to get rescheduled to later this week with somebody who I want to mentor me on like not consulting business, but doing workshops for businesses on wellness. I have a friend of mine who I want him to consult us in real estate. Be my mentor in real estate. And then I have another girl that I met who is a big time travel influencer. Did not even know this, just talking to her, chatting up, how I build friendships. Mm-hmm. So I want her to be my mentor in really getting more comfortable with getting out of the box on my social media to help it grow and get more engagement. So I'm planning to connect with 3, but I want 2 to be confirmed. Also, I need this building permit to come through while we're on the phone. While we're on this right now, my GC just called me. I hope she's talking about the pyramids here. Okay, that's what I'm playing. Right? Okay, I don't want to hear nothing else. What else? I'm trying to think. Business, but I feel like that's it. Like
that's enough.
That's 4. I was trying to think. Did I really put self-care on here? Rest is the self-care. Okay, that's it. That's all. I would put on here like I want to. Oh no, that's what I'm putting on here. Automation. So I was talking to the guy that I met at the summit, and him being an engineer, he know how our minds work. Like, so he was like, well, you could do. He was like, you basically could set something up where you can upload a video to your Google Drive, have the bot check whether the video contains the words mom's off duty or mom's or mom vacation. Depending on what it contains, it automatically will strip the audio from the from the video and upload it to your podcast distribution sites automatically. I said, I need you to say that again because I need to make sure I heard what you had said. Because I was like, I already have the videos
right
on my Google Drive in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, yeah. He was like, you could just do it yourself. He was like, if you don't want to do it yourself, you could just use Fiverr. I said, I ain't been on Fiverr in a minute, but I'll be there. So what I also am calling in is automation of some of the things that I've outsourced that I need to get my engineering brain into and outsource the engineering of it so that things happen without me having to do anything but show up on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything else happens on its own.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, these are the things that I also need to be considering this week. What's your word going to be for this week, Z?
One, I think I had done this. I didn't do it last week, but the previous weeks I did take a page from your book and I was calling in my $50,000 contract. Yes. I'm still calling that in. I had to put that back on the list.
Yes.
Contract. Uh-huh. And last week my word was courage. And so I'm calling it in again. Because as I'm thinking through, like, why don't I want to ask for that amount? I think I'm fearful that what happened last time where the person ghosted me could potentially happen this time. But this is someone that I know and I see. So I think it would allow for a conversation. Even if, we aren't able to move forward with the 25. But so I'm gonna call in courage also. Yeah. And my word this week is relax. I'm so upset because I saw a post that was essentially saying, like, relax. Stop with the like seeking, the hunting, the trying to, like, just that energy of angst around trying to get the next thing. Let that go. Just relax and allow the things that are for you to come to you. So relax for me is about releasing the angst that goes along with anything. There's the angst that goes along with, solidifying this proposal. Like, oh, it has to be perfect. Like, I want to include all of the things. Like, just relax.
Mm-hmm.
Go for work.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I don't even know if we did this as a tip on top of the tip, but on your worst day, you're better than most. And I have to remind myself that. So what I create, the fact that I even take the time to create it is a huge step. And I'm probably past, 80% of the folks. And then just the level at which I continuously work, on my worst day is still probably better than most. So relax is going to be my word of the week.
Yes. My word of the week is going to be small.
Respect the small.
It's going to be small. I want to, because, we are of the think big mentality on this accountability call. Okay. And I think that is important in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think, from what I've learned over the course of this last week was it's also important to respect the small, because respecting the small is what gets me to the big. So I want to think about, even the things that I'm doing in these different areas. The first thing I looked at was rest, right? Like, it's a small thing to drink tea to wind myself down. That's a small thing. That's what I'm doing.
Right.
Like, small. Respect the small.
Yeah.
Because that's what's really going to allow you to have the bigger thing, which is the high level rest, which is what I want for this week. So that is going to be my focus, is respecting the small.
It just reminds me that, we don't approach things from a singular perspective. We also don't simply approach things from a binary perspective, meaning one thing is right and the other and everything else is wrong. So we can think big and respect the small, right? Like,
yes,
this is definitely a space for the and.
Yes.
So that's,
yes,
I like that.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you for joining us for the accountability call. We'll be back next Monday. If you are here watching the replay, drop your goals in the comments, drop your word in the comments, drop your biggest takeaway in the comments as well. And we will see y'all next week. Bye.